This episode is brought to you by John Blake Sales Breakthrough Solutions, helping you to at least double the amount of leads that you get that convert into paying clients.
Welcome to the Master Dealmaker's Secrets podcast. And now, here's sales growth strategist, John Blake.
Welcome to Master Dealmaker's Secrets. I'm John Blake. This is episode 161. And today we are going to be talking about the single biggest mistake that I see inexperienced salespeople make and effectively how to avoid it. But first, before we do that, if you have got clients or prospective clients that you've spoken to, leads that you've spoken to, that you've made some sort of an offer to, but they have not bought yet, what I want you to do is head over to johnblakeaudio.com, and what you'll find there is an audio and PDF training that I put together specifically for my clients that want to double the amount of leads that convert into paying clients. So these are people that are sitting there in that proposals sent column of your CRM that haven't bought yet. So this is how to double sales with those people. Not only will you get the exact word-for-word scripts that I use in my emails when I'm following up with clients, what you'll also, prospective clients, what you'll also get are the exact word-for-word, exactly what to say when you ring them up on the phone, exactly what to say when you email them, and exactly when to call and when to email over a 90-day period. So one of the biggest questions that I get is how much follow-up is too much? When should I ring? When should I email? And when should I call? This answers all of those questions, and it gives you a framework that I have proven again. I've fine-tuned it. I have used it myself for many, many years, and I've taught it to hundreds and hundreds of different businesses and salespeople over the 18 years that I've been in coaching and consulting. So I know that it will work. It is over at johnblakeaudio.com. Okay, so the single biggest mistake that inexperienced salespeople make. So the single biggest mistake that inexperienced salespeople make is that they try to put prospective clients, so people that they're talking to about the possibility of doing business with them, into arbitrary type situations. They try and force them into arbitrary type situations. And the reason they do that is, one, because they don't do it because they have ill intentions. They do it because they are ill-informed and they have got inexperience when it comes to the process. So one of the things that I see is if you do this on an ongoing basis, and we'll talk about some of the things that you can do to fix this in a sec, but if you do this on an ongoing basis, what happens is that there actually aren't that many short-term consequences, right? So in the short term, you actually might even make more sales. Like if you're trying to force people to buy, if you're forcing people into arbitrary type situations, the short-term consequences are actually not that heavy, right? But over time, what happens, especially when you live in a country like Australia, or you live in a town like Melbourne or Sydney or Perth, and you're in a particular industry, what happens is the word gets around and people find out because they talk. Customers talk. I've lived in Sydney. I've worked a lot in Melbourne. I've lived, most of my life in Perth, in cities that have got, anywhere between 2 and 6 million people in them. And it can become a small place. You can turn what might appear to be a big place into a small place. And people talk, and suddenly people don't want to do business with you anymore. A lot of people who listen to the podcast want to know what we do over at Master Dealmaker Secrets. And effectively what we do is we work with sales professionals and business owners all over the world who are seeing massive increases in their top line sales revenue. So we help business owners and sales professionals to effectively focus on the 3 key drivers to growing sales revenue in your business. The first one is controlling the message that you send out into the marketplace so that potential clients see and hear and read what you do as an opportunity as opposed to your competitors. The second thing that we do is we help you to create a direct path to the 20% of your ideal clients that will deliver 80% of the revenue. So everyone knows the 80-20 rule. We help you to develop a direct path to the 20% of the people that are going to give you 80% of your sales revenue in your business. And the third thing that we allow you to do, that we create a process for, is for you to be able to double the amount of leads that you get that convert into paying clients. So if this is of interest, we do have an application-only process to become involved in this particular program. And to get to there, all you need to do is to go to johnblakescall.com. So it's JOHNBLAKESCALL.com, and there's a couple of questions to answer there. And then what you'll do is get on a quick conversation with me, and I can find out a little bit more about what you've got going on in your business and see potentially whether what you are doing would be a fit for what we could help you with. And at that point, I can extend an invitation if it's a fit, and you can make the choice to come on board or not. So that's the opportunity. That would be the next step if you're looking at how you can take things to the next level. If you're enjoying what you're hearing on the podcast, if you're getting value from it, I invite you to do that, and I will look forward to talking to you. The website is www.johnblakescall.com. Talk to you soon. I want to give you an example of this. And so I worked with a client, great business, great people. And one of the things that they wanted me to do was to help them to write more business on the spot. And so I gave them a process that I developed myself, because I had my own fashion agency for a long time, and I'd have clients, about 120, 130 different clients would come in and buy a range of apparel from me 2 or 3 times a year. And so I developed a system that would increase the likelihood of them buying on the spot. Because if they didn't buy on the spot, you would have to follow them up, and they had a whole bunch of different vendors that they would be dealing with from season to season, because they were buying fashion. They were buying clothing, accessories, bags, backpacks, sunglasses. So they had lots of different vendors that they were dealing with. And so if you didn't get the order on the spot, you often had to wait for it. And to the extent that the time that you had to wait, there was a direct correlation to the diminishing of the order that you would get. So for every week that would go past, the likelihood of you actually getting a big order would actually go, would go down to the same extent. So, there's a lot of good reasons for wanting a client to order on the spot, or order as quickly as possible. So one of the outcomes that the client wanted was to have this happen on a more regular basis, more consistent basis. So we went through and I taught them this particular system. And so I finished the particular session with them. I think I was with them for a couple of days, and we went through all this stuff. And then I left, and I came back to my office, and about 3 days later the phone rings, and this guy rings me and he says, "Oh, I tried what you did and it didn't work." And I said, "Well, tell me what happened." And he said, "Well, I had this buyer come in and I went through the process that you taught me, and he got aggro, and he just said, stop doing the hard sell, And I said to him, "Well, hang on." I said, "Was he an existing client?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, how long does this guy normally take to get his order to you?" And he goes, "Oh, 3 or 4 days." And I said, "Well, if he only takes 3 or 4 days to get his order to you, why did you try to, put the acid on him to order on the spot?" And he went, "Oh, yeah." So you have to, understand context, and so this sort of leads me to my biggest cure for this, because we tend to get fixated on process first, and we tend to get fixated on outcome. And when we get fixated too much on process, and we get fixated too much on outcome, we become adversarial and we become combative in the sales process. And that's the last thing that you want, because at best they'll be polite, but they just won't buy. At worst, they will run a mile in the opposite direction, or you could easily, get booted out, and that's just not what you want. So the simple remedy for this, the simple cure for this, the simple fix for this, is to focus more on your prospect than what you do on either your process or your product or the outcome. Right? So I'll say that again, focus more on your prospects. So try and find out what's going on. Find out what's going on in their world. Take note of how they are responding to the questions that you're asking. If you notice a blockage or something that's come up in terms of their energy, address it on the spot. Be the theme, I guess that I'm using a lot with clients at the moment is this whole idea of childlike curiosity. Ask questions, but don't ask them for the sake of asking them. Ask questions because you are actually genuinely interested, because you want to find out and get clarity on what's going on for that particular person so that you can give them the right solution. And if you do that, then you will find that you will get way better outcomes. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you get a lot out of this particular episode. As always, I really, really appreciate you listening, and I will talk to you on the next podcast. Cheers.
You've been listening to Master Dealmaker Secrets with John Blake. Subscribe to get more in-depth strategies and maximize your sales process with new episodes every other week. And double your inquiry to sale conversion with the lead flow you already have. Go to johnblakeaudio.com for his exclusive, free, no-fluff audio training and companion PDF guide.